Hey guys, welcome back to the Air Warfare Group. This is Juice. So I haven't done a video like this in a long time, and I thought it'd be a good time to go ahead and throw this out there for critique and review. And what I want to talk today about is why most of us in DCS World and any other combat flight sim tend to suck when it comes to dogfighting. And you may not realize that you suck, but I hope you realize we all suck. And there's a few of us that are doing it right, and I'm not one of those guys. But you know, when I'm directing this kind of content towards you guys, I'm not directing it at you personally. I'm just directing it towards most of the people in the community that fall into that category of either you, me, or the other guy. So anybody else that's not in that category, ignore this. So in dogfighting, one of the things that I really notice in the flight sim community for over the last 35 years is that seems to be the number one thing that people like to do. You know, these 40 on 40 airquake type servers that they want to go into, and there's a large group within the DCS community that has moved away from that as a primary combat platform or combat mission that they want to do, and they're doing a little bit of that with also integrated operations and stuff, and that's kind of like what I'm into and now. But one of the things that I wanted to touch about was the 4 factors that I have found over the years that kind of contribute to the success or the failure of a dogfighter in the online virtual combat sim world. The number one thing is training. Now, a lot of people think that when they go out and they join a multiplayer server and they're not talking to anybody and they don't have anybody in their team on communications and everything, that they're training, and they're not. They're just going out and having fun. And there's nothing wrong with that. I used to do that all the time. And then I realized that we had VoIP back in the day, and we started talking to each other, and we started teaming up, and we started training together. And training, what really training involves in a combat flight sim is you and somebody else on the same page that have sat down and briefed together, get into a server, and you guys go out and practice dogfighting against each other. And you go and repeat that, and you learn from your mistakes. And that's what training is. Training is following all of the principles that I'm going to touch on today, but that's where it starts, in training. Now, one of the other things that I have found that seems to be lacking in my friends that I bring into the Air Warfare group, or people that I knew in Tactical DCS or Speed and Angels and other groups, is that nobody wants to take the time to learn. They don't want to learn the capabilities of their aircraft, but more importantly, they need to learn the capabilities of their adversary's aircraft. And a lot of that applies to real-world thinking, but in a combat flight sim like DCS World, you can study, you can go out and fly the other person's aircraft if you own it, or you can try it for 2 weeks, and you can actually see how it handles, how it bleeds G, how it maneuvers, what its cornering speed is, what its envelope is, and everything. And how fast it accelerates, how fast it decelerates, what kind of alpha can it pull. Little things like that, studying it. So when you go up against an adversary, if he's on, if you're going up, and like I am right here, most of us are in Hornets. I go up against a couple Eagles and a couple F5s in this video. But most of the video you're seeing is me killing or being killed. And I think I do about a 50% success rate, which is what the real world guys get. The fighter pilots that I know and that Tyro knows say that when you go out and do BFM, your success rate is about 50%. There's hardly anybody that's out there pushing over the batting 500, I should say. And you know what? If you were a baseball player, 500 would be a good batting average and stuff. So learning is the second point that I'd like to bring up. And if you're learning, it just reinforces your confidence on what you should do and what you need to do. Now, this is a big one for me, and then number 3 I'm getting to right now is teamwork. And that teamwork starts with you and a buddy or multiple buddies going into a closed server and training just in your little bubble on how to do this. Practice looking for that attack window entry. Practice staying in the control zone. When we go out and fly, and you'll see some of the thumbnails through this briefing as I'm talking, when we go out and fly, we actually go out and fly sometimes in the T-45 Goshawk, which doesn't shoot anything, but it gives us a chance to put an instructor in the back of a fast jet and allows us to go through and practice and then take over control and demonstrate something and how it should look to the pilot and put it back in and stuff. And none of us are experts. We do have a few people that are military pilots. We do have a couple friends that are fighter pilots or used to be fighter pilots, but we really don't rely on them. What we do is we rely on trial and error and our research research through the training and through the learning that I mentioned before. Now, the final part that I would have to say is probably the hardest for all of us is discipline. Having the discipline basically to go out and fly the maneuver, fly the procedure, and force yourself not to get greedy. You know, it's really hard. I have a friend that went out and he has some skills. He went out and challenged Growling Sidewinder against a dogfight and killed him twice. And then he went and reviewed the tape, and he found out that Growling was pulling the paddle switch. You know, it's one of those things. What we do in our group, and this is not to say we're better than anybody else, but what we try to do is we try to go out and fight with the aircraft like we're going to bring it home to fight another day. We don't go out and try to say, okay, this is disposable aircraft. As a matter of fact, if we let this video that I'm showing you from 3.5 years ago roll even further, you'll see where I got shot down by an F-15 guy, and then it was not a victory. It was an even kill for both of us because he immediately ejected after that. And so even though he shot me, I was able to get him to eject out of his airplane, and my goal is to make sure he doesn't live to fight another day. So, you know, the discipline, I mean, it starts with the teamwork. Oh, here's the Eagle guy right here. It starts with the discipline and the teamwork that work together, because you have to learn how to fight as a team before you can exercise that discipline as a team. If you're the supporting fighter, you're the supporting fighter. You're not there to take a pot shot. You know, I've been that guy that was supposed to be the supporting fighter, and I got greedy, and I went in for the shot, and I ended up colliding with my flight lead and killed us both. And it was not a happy day. You know, it was fun. Like I said, all of this is fun, and the airquake is something that I do miss from time to time. I typically will try to do this in a World War II setting because it's more realistic. If you look at history, there were a lot more dogfights in World War II than there were here. And, you know, the jets that we're mixing it up with now, these Gen 3, 5 plus, you know, they were BVR planned jets. Okay, here's where I get shot. And I'm going down, and, you know, I should have said, hey, first one to eject loses, because I'm still in my cockpit seeing if I can recover. And you guys are watching a track file. There he goes. He punches out. I don't even remember who that guy was. He was from, I think he was from Denmark, one of my friends. This was when most of these guys are guys from the tactical DCS group that we were part of when we first started. Right as the lockdown and pandemic was starting, we started doing this. So some of the things that I would say to do is one in the training, and I will put some links at the end of this video of our training videos that we have up that show TAC view reviews, where you can actually see the flight path and where we did and the energy states of some of the airplanes. I'll throw those up. But also the learning part is, you know, going out and Googling the aircraft combat fundamentals for like the F-16. You guys can Google that, and if you can find that in your country, it's a great resource. You may find an older one that's 1996. You know, it's 27 years ago. It was the year I got married, and I would have to say that that one is still a very good reference because it has pictures. It shows you the procedure. Some of the other things that you should look at and learn from is Johan Kylander has a series of books out, and I think the best one, and the one that I have, is my favorite, and I actually sent a copy to Prickly Hedgehog about a year ago when I sent him his Squadron Cup when he joined the Air Warfare Group. I sent him the In Pursuit by Johan Kylander, and it's a World War II online player's guide to dogfighting or to air combat. And it covers more than just dogfighting, but it talks about the basic maneuvers, you know, what an embleman is, what a split S is, you know, all the different things that you need to learn. Some of the other things you should learn too is Dicta Bolka. Oswald Bolka was a German ace in World War II. World War I. He died an untimely death in the war, but he had 8 characteristics of his doctrine for dogfighting that he always followed. And so take a look at that if you guys look up Dicta Bolka. And I'll put a link to one of the videos that Tyro and I discussed that with, where we bring it up. And then, you know, when you get a chance, go out and get a digital copy of Robert Shaw's Air Combat Tactics and Maneuvering. It's kind of like most Simmer's Bible on how to learn. It really ties in what Johan Kylander did with his In Pursuit, and it ties it into modern jets and everything. And I will put a link to where you can find that in a PDF. You can listen to it in PDF if you've got a PDF reader, if you don't want to read it, but you can also just go through and skim through it and then pick chapters to study and everything. The big thing is exercise some of that training, that learning, that teamwork, and that discipline as a group. Get in with your guys and, you know, form a DCS or a air combat or a War Thunder, whatever platform you like to do dogfighting with. Form a reading group. Say, hey guys, this week we're gonna study chapter 5 of this book or this reference and stuff. Then we're gonna go out and practice it. And I'll tell you what, exercising those 4 qualities that I say that I talk about today, I don't really say anything, but exercising these 4 qualities in a dogfighter of training, learning, teamwork, and discipline will make it even more fun, and you'll be more successful. You may find out that the other guy is also learning this too, so he may be more successful. So you'll probably maintain that 50-50 success rate that is kind of the norm in the real world. So I hope you guys enjoy these kind of videos. Sorry it's been a while since we've talked about anything tactical. You know, it's one of those things, we're more of a group that does various missions and training. We really focus on training, on everything on how to employ the jet, but also on how to survive with the jet, how to fly the jet, manage the systems and everything like that. We like to go from just past engine start to just before shutdown. We usually end up our missions shutting down in the EOR because we want to get into the debrief and get back to our lives. Remember, it's just a game. It's fun for everybody. Hope you guys are enjoying whatever flight sim platform you're flying in. And if you've got a particular one that is your favorite, go ahead and put it in the comments. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Everybody take care, and I'll talk to you in the next video.